Hello my fellow book nerds. In this video I'm going to talk about my favorite authors and my favorite book from each author. I think there's about eight. Wow, I guessed that right. I honestly didn't know. So there's 8 authors and 8 books that I'm going to talk about, and I feel like some of them are very obvious because I've talked a lot about these particular books, but I wanted to talk more about the authors and why I love them, and I think they're pretty much brilliant in every way. Well, at least with their writing. I don't know about personal lives. I haven't really gone into that far. Okay, so let's get right into the list. The first author that I love, and this woman gives me like a hope for ever becoming a writer, is obviously, I feel like she's everyone's hope, is J.K. Rowling, who wrote obviously the Harry Potter series and a bunch of other series and books that she has written as well. She's an amazing author, and honestly like an amazing person. I love what she does with like Lumos, I think it's Lumos, that charity that she founded pretty much to help children all around the world, and I think that one is amazingly beautiful, that what she does. So with her and her, like specifically her writing, I'm going to get into, is she built, well, she built an amazing world. Like you cannot go deeper than that. And well, all the authors I'm going to talk about created amazing worlds, but hers is just so special and touched so many lives in this world. Like, and not even that, it's mostly also the characters. Like everyone loves Hermione, and even though you expect for her to be a character that people don't normally like, people love her. And also, well, it could be a little bit of Emma Watson, but Hermione in herself is an amazing character. She's strong, she's courageous, and a loving friend. So okay, so my air conditioner just turned on. We're gonna have to deal with that because I'm not gonna turn it off. So anywho, yeah, her characters that she created were amazing, and my favorite book that she wrote, I would have to say it's The Goblet of Fire, because that is where you can really see that she got into it. Because like the first 3 books are really short, I would say. They're shorter than most, and the 4th book she just expanded on the world and just really dove into it. So I loved that book. I thought it was really cool. Next author is Michael Crichton. I love his books. Like, I mean, I loved his work even before I knew he was even an author, which was like Jurassic Park, The Lost World, what's the 3rd one called? I think it's just Jurassic Park 3. Is that what it's called? I don't remember. Twister, like all these movies that he helped make and that were based off his books were amazing. The concept, I think that's what I admire most about him, are his concept, how on earth does he come up with his ideas? I have no idea. I don't think any author knows, but the concept for each of his stories is amazing, and that's what I admire most about him, or where I see, how can I say it? It's a concept, and also like the themes, like the theme for Jurassic Park and The Lost World, you can really feel the theme throughout the whole thing, and especially at the end where he usually explains it through a character. And my favorite book from him is, I'm gonna have to say Jurassic Park. Definitely Jurassic Park. I'm gonna have to cut these shorter. Okay, 3rd one is Orson Scott Card, and my favorite book that he wrote was the 2nd one. The 2nd book of the Ender's Game was Speaker for the Dead. That right there. Okay, my favorite thing about him is that he wrote Ender. Like that character is beyond amazing. So like just his intellect is like at a high level, but also his understanding of people is just amazing, and his flaws are severely prominent. Like you could see those in a second. That's what I love about the character. He's so smart and he knows other people, and yet he is still very flawed in many ways and characteristics. This random piece of hair. But anywho, I love Orson Scott Card and how he produced this world, and many worlds technically, because he spreads out through the whole thing. I think that was pretty awesome. I better cut it because I was gonna keep going, but no, need to cut. Obviously, Rick Riordan. Who doesn't love his books? I mean, probably the best thing about those books is the humor in them, yet they're still filled with thematic pieces in it, and also bringing in the idea of gods and how they have to deal with the idea that they are not technically in control, and yet they're in control of their lives and they get to choose. I love the fact that Percy Jackson does not choose to be a god, that he ends up staying mortal, and I think that is such a great idea, because mortality is one thing that we have to face, that we all have to face. So him not choosing to be immortal is such an awesome thing. But Rick Riordan, his writing is just on par, like, and his humor, so good, just so good. I love it. JRR Tolkien. I think he is the one that I love the most, because he wrote the story that I love the most. The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings are just like, they are amazing to me. I can't even explain. Bilbo is probably my favorite character in the whole thing. The Hobbit is my favorite book, and Bilbo is probably my favorite character, and or Sam from the Lord of the Rings series. Those books are amazing, and I keep like finding new books, and I love how he starts from like the origin, from the Silmarillion all the way to, there's a decent amount of books. I think there's like 8. So of this world, I think it's just so awesome. The only thing that I never really liked was the eagles. I like the eagles, but they always come in at the end, kind of like an ex machina thing, so I'm not a big fan of that. But I still love the stories, and like Aragon, Boromir, like these characters are so they're rich. They have a lot of darkness to them, and yet they're still they have this light in them as well, where they do fight for what they believed in and all that. Even though like the movies from the books, there's a ton of differences, especially with The Hobbit, but that's fine. I'm okay with it because I actually watched the movies first, so I was actually okay with it, shockingly. Okay, I just discovered this author, and I fell in love with the 4 books. It's the Inheritance series, so it's Christopher Paolini. I think that's how you say his last name, Paolini. Yeah, those books shook me. I loved Aragon. I thought he was a really good character. But what surprised me and what I loved the most was that the story structure of the books, because there's some books that are written and that are like, they hurry up to get to the end. They hurry up to confront the main villain and all that. And in these books, I mean, we don't really see Galbatorix until the last book, and like in the middle of the last book. Throughout the whole thing, he is fighting other things. It's like an actual war, and you don't even meet Galbatorix until the end. And I thought it was very well written, very well structured, because it still kept Galbatorix up in a place where you still saw him as a villain, and you could feel like his power. You could feel it, and it was all around just shocking. So, and how Aragon won was pretty amazing anyways. So anyway, through the whole thing, I loved the books. I love that the end was not cliche, that they didn't, though it broke my heart, they didn't end up together, which I thought was interesting. I should say spoilers, but it's an old book. They're old books, so whatever. So yes, I thought the author did an amazing way. Like, he weaved the story in an amazing way. The story structure was just spot on, I think, with those books. Oh, favorite one. I think it was the 3rd one in the series, Briesinger. I think that was the best one. Yeah, I would say that was probably the best one. That one or the last one? Yeah. Shockingly enough, a romantic author, like an author that writes romance. She's a classic. It's classics. Jane Austen. The woman is the only person that has written books that I like that are romantic. Okay, never mind. There's also, what's his name? Nicholas Sparks. He writes okay stories, but I'm okay. Nah. I prefer Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice is just like, obviously the first book is my favorite. The best romance book, I think. There are others like Emma or Persuasion and all those, but for some reason I just have this spot for Pride and Prejudice. Maybe because I like Elizabeth so much and Mr. Darcy's just fascinating to me. But I don't know, like I like that it's like an older version. Like the way they talk is definitely one reason why I love the book so much and why I like the author so much, because she was able to definitely portray that time, which I believe she lived in. Obviously, I guess, I don't know, I would have to research that. I have no idea if when she lived it's like that time period of those books. I don't think so. I really don't think so, but I'd have to see. I did not research that. But besides that, I still love how the books are written, and the characters were amazing, and the concepts are so simple, and because of that, I think is one reason, like, romance novels are usually quite simple. Their concepts are really simple, so she was able to get those simple concepts and make them into great stories. So that's one thing that's great about Jane Austen and her books. Okay, last one, and I actually completely forgot about him until I think I was searching stuff and I saw him. Neil Gaiman. How can I forget Neil Gaiman? The man has like amazing stories. He writes comics, he writes books, he now has a show, I think, like with, it's not American Gods, it's the other one. Completely forgot. But anywho, amazing writer, like amazing imagination with him. Like my favorite book that he wrote is obviously the Graveyard Book. So like that book was, I believe, for children, and yet it still has some dark, deep things in there, kind of like J.K. Rowling's books also have some very dark things, and they're still for children, which is interesting. And I love that. I think painting the world for kids that it's peachy and blue and everything like that, it kind of bugs me, but it's not. Like they picture it like how it really is and how it could be and how dangerous the world is, and he weaves that in that book so well that I think it's so good. And I just love that book. And I love another book that I really liked was Neverwhere. That was not for children, but was a fascinating, like, darker version of a hidden world in this world, which I think is awesome. So all these authors are amazing. I love them. This video is already super long, but I don't care. Love them books. Love these authors. I would love to meet any of them. I think it'd be amazing. I'd probably, you know how people get starstruck? I don't think I would actually get starstruck with a lot of people, but with these authors, oh yeah. I feel like I couldn't even hold a conversation with these people because they're so brilliant. But whatever, love them. So anywho, thank you so much for watching this video. Please tell me down below who is your favorite author, and recommend your favorite book with them. So let me know down below, and thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.